So on this warm afternoon, I welcome you all to this affordable digital marketing strategy session that we have designed specially for SMEs. What we'll be doing today is we'll be taking an overview and a look at how digital marketing is changing, how can SMEs be a part of this change, and how can they use all of this for their own benefit for branding, sales, hiring, and multiple other things. Okay, so I'm just going to close the question panel. Now, today in general, what we're going to overall talk about is not numbers to impress you, not numbers from the industry data which says that SMEs are growing at this pace, digital marketing is helping them. But we look at some real examples. We'll also look at some real ways to actually help you do digital marketing better. Along with that, as I mentioned, we'll be answering some of the questions. One important thing is you will be getting a LinkedIn profile optimizer by the end of this class, which is a free tool that you will be able to use. And in 2 to 3 hours, you'll be able to have a better looking LinkedIn profile for yourself, which will be optimized for future use. Now, so I think this answers somebody's question. So you see, digital media is more like a jungle. Big brands are like the big trees. Everybody sees them because they spend so much money. So, the problem is that originally digital marketing or social media marketing was supposed to be a space where the smaller players, where the players who nobody hears of, could get their space to speak, could get their space to be heard, and do so much more. But over time, what has happened is the bigger brands have taken over this place as well. So call it a hijack, or call it monopolization, or call it the fact that even the Facebooks and the Googles are also going to move towards the way where the wind is blowing or where the money is ringing. In that sense, or in that case, what is it that SMEs can do to make sure they are not just visible, but they also get their due in terms of recognition, in terms of customers, and effectively digital marketing gives people the relevant ROI for the kind of investment that they are making in this domain. Some of the basic myths or some of the basic questions, along with the ones that you already asked people have, are that digital marketing doesn't work. Digital marketing is just a fad. It has come and it will go away. A lot of people are worried about why don't my likes increase. And the biggest question on everybody's mind is that I will need a huge amount of money to make sure my digital marketing campaign takes off or moves further and builds. So we'll try to break those myths as well. Now, first of all, digital marketing is very vast. So let's try to briefly understand what all comes under digital marketing. So a simple Google search, the results that it gives after the sponsored results are what we call organic results or search engine results. This page itself is called the SERP or search engine results page. And the ads on top and bottom, now there are no right hand side ads. The ads which are there are of course the part of SEM or search engine marketing. That's SEO or organic search, and this is SEM or PPC or pay-per-click advertising. Within social media itself, there are so many channels, right from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and growing by the day. These days, some youngsters at your home might be active on something called Snapchat or might be heavily using Instagram. So all these new channels and new platforms, you don't have to be available or present on each one of them, but it's important for you to generally have an understanding of how do they work or what is it that people are using it for and how can you use it. Now, one of the most neglected aspects of digital marketing is email marketing. On one hand, we have a lot of us SMEs and startups and even corporates buying databases, sending bulk mails to people, hoping that they register for an event or buy their product. And on the other hand, there is the right way to do email marketing, which allows you to nurture leads over time, which allows you to get opt-in database where people tell you that they are interested in hearing from you, then they hear from you on a regular basis, and finally the conversion happens not by multiple cold calls, but by email marketing and something specifically called drip email marketing. Inbound marketing is where the larger focus is shifting. So what everybody is facing in the digital marketing space is something called banner blindness. Now I'll tell you what banner blindness is. Whenever you go to any website, or let's say even if I do a Google search, and I'll in fact tell you why Google has also stopped the right-hand side ads. The moment we go to any website, or the moment we do a Google search, we have by now become accustomed to seeing ads on the right-hand side. So what happens is these ads on the left or the right, while they will play a part in helping their brand and helping them get hits and clicks, people in general have become focused in the middle, in the center. Therefore, Google has also discontinued right-hand side ads. Reason simply being, we are all accessing digital on a simple device, which is our mobile. 3 years ago, this wasn't the case. 3 years ago, more and more people were using their desktops, laptops. We still are. Right now, I'm sure 90% of us must be accessing this webinar through a laptop or a desktop. But what is changing is that our go-to medium, the first place where we access something online, or where we read our email, or where we check our Facebook, or let's say where we read the latest gossip on WhatsApp, it is happening on the mobile. Since everything is happening on the mobile, we are centered in our focus. We are looking at the center of the screen. By the way, there is no right-hand column on the mobile. There is just the center. Therefore, people are trying to do away with right-hand side ads. Also, people are moving from ads to something called content marketing. Now, if you see this particular ad by Maruti, the all-new concept SUV from Maruti Suzuki, Vitara Brezza, you may not have noticed, but this is an ad which is interspersed in this other content. So while there are 100 articles out here, one of them is an ad by Maruti Suzuki, which does not deliberately get shown here as an ad per se, but which is actually an ad. Or this one by ICICI Lombard. Now, if I click on this, it might take me to an article. Or let's see, where does it take us? It directly takes me to the website, but it is hidden here in the form of an article. And that's what is happening these days. Focus is shifting from normal, regular right-hand column banner ads to content ads, or all of which is a part of inbound marketing, which is attracting people to a website. And after they come to a website, whether through a Google search or an article or through a mention in an article, then how do I convert them over time? But all that may only be relevant for the ones here who are running an online business, purely an online business, and who want to generate and close all their business online. Mobile marketing is gaining importance. Somebody here asked me a question about how do we pick up in rural areas, or how do we pick up in tier 2 and 3 towns. Think of WhatsApp. Now, WhatsApp, as some of you may know, was acquired by Facebook an year ago. And today we are at a stage where WhatsApp might eventually become the more engaged platform for more Indians versus a Facebook. The reason simply being, WhatsApp is more personalized. WhatsApp is a simple chat application. I don't see any ads on WhatsApp. And slowly and steadily, WhatsApp is turning into a mini TV for people. Thanks to the mobile sizes growing bigger, thanks to the screen size on my mobile growing bigger, and thanks to the penetration all across the country through 3G, now Airtel Girl says 4G, and today Reliance has also launched GeoG or Geo. So what is happening is cheaper internet available at all locations that enables me to, or that makes me not invest in multiple places. I simply invest in a mobile phone, in the mobile internet, and all my entertainment, all my information, all my communication happens through there. Think of how rapidly WhatsApp has killed SMS. Think of how rapidly some people are also beginning to use WhatsApp calls at a regular basis. Or think of how some of you must be doing active business using WhatsApp. You know, whether it's sending a client some pictures of a product, or dealing, you know, money matters are happening over WhatsApp, or any of those things. Everything is beginning to happen via WhatsApp. That's the kind of change we are seeing overall. Now, let's look at some examples of SMEs like yourself, and let's try to see how did they make the most of digital marketing and how is it helping them now. Now, Just for Hearts used SEO, and SEO being search engine optimization, which is the part of making sure you come up or you appear at the top of search results whenever people search for relevant keywords or your brand name. How did they go about it? So what they did is they started building their profiles across multiple platforms, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and many other channels like SlideShare. Eventually, what that helped them do is that they blocked their names across every portal. So you also, I'm sure, must have some of the other times search for it on Google to try and see what comes up on top. So one easy way to come up on top is to block your name everywhere. And that's what Just for Arts did. Whether it's WordPress.com, Facebook.com, Twitter.com, something called vanity URLs, they block these URLs or these names at every place. And after they did that, when you search for them today, or this is from some time back, I'm sure similar would be the case right now, what you get is they have blocked the entire first page of Google for their name, right? Even though this could have been, this could have showed me a lot of other results. It could be heart specialists or something else to do with heart. But thanks to their strategy over time, which included social media and SEO, they are able to block this space and come up right on top. Similarly, cardekho.com, I forget, but one was acquired by the other. There are, I think, 2 car websites. I am forgetting which one acquired which one. What they did is they adopted a pure play SEO strategy in which they got multiple people, car owners, bloggers, and other people to write on their website about different aspects of car, maintenance, auto, and multiple other segments. And thanks to that, what they achieved is that over time, their branding shooted up on SEO, on Google search, gave them a lot of recognition, gave them a lot of credibility. And by today, it is a pretty big name and a big brand by itself. So it's not that they spent money. It's just that they wisely used their efforts. And let me also tell you here, it's not about how much you write, or it's not about the fanciest of things that you write, but it's about what you write and who does it get read by. If it gets read by the right people, then you can be rest assured that you will gain something or the other out of it. So search engines and digital can definitely make the unknown become known through one or the other way. In this case, being SEO. Now, Facebook pages have actually been seeing a downfall in a way, and I'll tell you what do I mean by that. Earlier, whenever you used to post something on a Facebook page, and I'm sure a lot of you would be having a Facebook page, it used to get a lot of likes, it used to get a lot of reactions, comments, this, that, everything else. Over time, what has happened is Facebook has come up with algorithms, and these algorithms protect people's pages and their updates to be seen by too many people. Now, when that happens, what it does to you as a smaller brand or a page with lesser likes is that it hides your updates in that noise. It doesn't let people even see your updates. And therefore, of course, there is no point of people engaging with your updates or anything after that. In such a scenario, you need to ensure that you don't go crazy after likes. So this is a brief reminder to everybody, if you do not know it already. Do not spend money on getting more likes on your Facebook page. It does not have any more value. Simple reason being that likes do not guarantee repeat visitors. Likes are just a vanity number to make you feel good that my page has 2000 likes, which may also be necessary. If you want to showcase yourself in a good light to your prospective customers, you may want to spend that money in just getting people to see you that, this page has so many likes and so on and so forth. But other than that, there is no point of doing this. So you would not invest in likes. But with the relevant kind of fans that you have, and you keep the messages open, and you keep promoting your posts, and you keep reaching out to relevant people through ads, that will definitely result in direct sales, direct leads, and direct conversions. So somebody here asked me that how do I generate leads at a low cost from Facebook? So here is a super tip for you. Facebook has introduced something called lead ads, right? And Facebook lead ads are basically your method of generating leads directly from. So let me see if I see it here. Yes. So of course, all of this we won't be doing today in detail, but if you go to your ad manager, there is a simple method of collecting leads for your business. What this does is, this eliminates the need for having a landing page or a lead form on your website. And all that you need to do after that is simply have a lead generation ad, and that lead generation ad will enable you to collect data of prospects from Facebook itself. So after you target them in a certain way, after you've chosen various parameters, which is again something we won't have time for today, you get to basically collect leads, and that's how it works. So for example, if I can just show you, yeah, like this sign up action has come, and this is the creative which appears, and that is how you get to collect leads. So let me, if I just show you how the lead form looks. So I can, for example, ask which car do you own, or when was it, when did you buy it, or how often do you want to hear from us. And then this form will appear on people's Facebook pages, timelines, and then they can fill it up, and then you can get their data in terms of email ID, phone numbers, and other things. These are some of the new methods which Facebook has come up with digital industry has come up with, to help people not just do marketing, but to do direct sales. So one important thing I want to mention here is that digital marketing is not just about marketing. Digital is about marketing, sales, hiring, branding, and perhaps any other important relevant thing that you can think of. So your data, the contacts that you have, the email IDs that you have, the phone numbers that you have, can be used to not just do cold calling, can be used to not just send bulk emails, but can also be used for custom targeting on Facebook and Google to reach out to your prospective customers by specifically targeting only them based on their email ID. So that's what you can do with your data. Now, LinkedIn, I'm sure most of us are present on, and most of us have been using LinkedIn for a long while. One good change which I see in a lot of people of late is that more and more people are using the LinkedIn app on their phone. And thanks to the LinkedIn app, they are ensuring that they get to get the latest updates from their contacts or any contact requests or messages or whatever else. So LinkedIn app is a good step forward that most of us have taken. If you haven't done that already, please install the LinkedIn app today itself. It's a very important thing that you should do. Now LinkedIn, not just in terms of randomly adding people and networking, but there are much stronger uses of LinkedIn. So one of them being simply the part of reaching out to people and telling them what you have to offer and then letting them come back to you. For example, this is a real estate pitch that we kind of made on a group. Sorry, and after which we got relevant people to write back, relevant people to discuss, and relevant people to engage with later on. Similarly, we sent out a hiring request on LinkedIn, not using the paid jobs feature, but by simply using groups or by simply using our own profiles. So profiles have become a very, very important aspect of what you do on LinkedIn. Your profile can be the very core of your existence on LinkedIn, and your profile can be enough to get leads to be generated in terms of not just sales, but also hiring and multiple other things. So that is what you can always focus on. This is an example of how people reached out after seeing our LinkedIn ad. This example I personally like a lot, which is an example of a lawyer using LinkedIn to reach out to people, telling them about his services. So his agenda is simple. What he does is he would add people onto his LinkedIn profile, people who he thinks would be relevant to his business or who come from his city of domicile. In this case, he is a district court attorney in Saket, and he's reached out to me saying, "Greetings, I was just going through a profile, sort of asking you if you ever have any work in that particular court, let me know." Now we all know that at one level, lawyers are not allowed to advertise too much or not too directly. But in this case, it's a simple message, which is not even on LinkedIn, not even on email, but a simple LinkedIn message, which is helping me know about the services, and I will definitely keep him in mind whenever I need something of that sort. So again, a free method, a method which doesn't require you to invest any money whatsoever, neither in the LinkedIn profile, premium profile, or any other feature of LinkedIn. Free method to reach out to people. I have also been making very active use of LinkedIn, and among other things that I do, I would send messages to all my contacts in telling them about some latest PPT that I made or a video that they might find useful about a certain session that I conducted or anything at all. In this case, after I send them a session about me having conducted a seminar, it resulted in a reply from one of my contacts who happened to be a journalist. This reply was about inviting me to write an article for a magazine. The reason why it happened is because I sent her a message through LinkedIn. So one simple message by me to my contacts on LinkedIn actually resulted in a 2-page article by me in a national magazine. And this is something which you otherwise have to hire PR agencies for. And even then it is not going to be a cakewalk to get something like this featured somewhere. But in this case, since I am in the habit of adding everybody on my LinkedIn profile, anybody and everybody who I've come across, and then I would try to regularly stay in touch with them through updates, posts, published articles, or messages, this happened just like that. So I always emphasize on this, that LinkedIn has immense potential. It is just not hyped up enough. You do not get to hear about LinkedIn every day. You get to hear about Twitter, Facebook, Google, but not LinkedIn every day. But my request to you is, please take LinkedIn seriously. Please invest time on LinkedIn, and you will see how it helps you in the longer run. Now, there is a certain concept called remarketing, which you all must have already seen whenever you go across multiple websites. But let me just very briefly tell you and show you how this works and why does this happen and how does this help companies. Now, you might have gone to a website like yatra.com, makemytrip.com, Flipkart, Amazon. You saw a product and then you came back to Facebook, or you went to a new site on Google, or you went to a Google search, and then you start seeing the same ads again. Now, why and how does that happen, and how does that help the brand? So whenever we go to any website, let's say if I go to Amazon.in right now. Now, Amazon has certain trackers through which it tracks my activity. So for example, if I click here, or let me actually click on a product, then it will be better. So let's click here. Now, I will ideally notice that the number of trackers that Amazon here has, App Nexus, Google Dynamic Remarketing. So I hope you all see this, Google Dynamic Remarketing. Google Dynamic Remarketing here means that now that I have seen this page, now that I have been on this page, at the back end of this website, when I say the back end of this website, I mean that this code, which stores the coding of what this page is all about. So let's see, yeah, this is the code. And I don't think we'll be able to see Google. Okay, we see Google APIs. Okay, and that could be it actually. I hope you all can see this. It says when retargeting, execute a certain function, fire Google Pixel. So what this basically means is you don't have to worry about these technicalities, but my basic agenda of showing you this was that at the back end of this page that we see here, which is about Fitbit Amazon, there is a code inserted on that page which talks about fire Google Pixel, and that code helps Amazon track me on the web, and then my cookies get stored here. So what this does is that Amazon drops a cookie on my browser. So since I'm logged into Chrome right now, Amazon has secretly tagged me, or has basically added a code to my browser through which Amazon is able to now track me all across Facebook, Google, and the entire universe, entire digital universe. Therefore, and through that, it is able to do retargeting or remarketing and then show me the same ad when I head back to Google or when I head back to Facebook or any other site. So that is the basic concept of remarketing, and which is why you see multiple kinds of ads whenever you go to any website. Now, you might have heard a lot about Twitter and how Twitter is for celebrities and more celebrities are using it and so on and so forth. I'd like to bring your attention to the part of how Twitter is a very useful tool for lead generation. Now, how that happens is something we won't be able to discuss today, but what I want you to show is that brand Sheepstop is hearing conversations from people about t-shirts. So this brand called Sheepstop is replying to Anish Unnikrishnan, who talks about getting a threadless t-shirt. Threadless is a global brand of t-shirts which give you organic cotton t-shirts that are customized. And this company, what it has done is, it has basically replied to this gentleman by saying that, why don't you try us out? We have organic cotton t-shirts and we can help you. So let's see what we can do. And then this guy goes on to say that this is the only smart way of marketing. And this company, Sheepstop, okay, I'm missing a slide there, no problem. But this company then has gone on to become a very good famous company by simply adopting such growth hack methods, or methods which don't require you to spend a lot of money but give you good return nonetheless. So that's the part of listening through Twitter and generating leads through Twitter. Similarly, you can see Deskaway is reaching out or replying to people. Check out Deskaway for project management and time tracking. It's feature rich. So that's how people are using Twitter, not to grow their followers or gain more popularity, but to directly reach out to people in selling, in generating leads, and so on and so forth. So digital and social is not just about Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. There is in fact more to it. But due to the paucity of time, we won't be touching upon all those aspects today itself. And no matter if somebody in your industry is doing it or not, if you put your brains to it and if you try to figure out where does your target audience lie, then you can for sure do things, you can for sure create new models and reach out to relevant people in that sense. Moving on to B2B promotion. One big question on everybody's minds is that how does one do B2B promotion? So B2B promotion, LinkedIn is not just the only medium to do it. A platform called SlideShare, something called WordPress, Medium.com, or even articles on LinkedIn can become a very, very important way to reach out to your prospective audience. For example, in this case, my PPT that I made 4 to 5 years ago, this is 5 years ago, 10 simple lessons from Kolavery. Let's see where it lies on Google right now and how many views it has crossed. So this is a incognito window. I'm searching for Kolavery lessons. And when I search for Kolavery lessons, it turns out that my PPT is right there on top. So on November 23rd PPT for a song as famous as Kolavery still comes up on top above other guitar lessons, above YouTube, simply because the platform that I shared it on, SlideShare, is very prominent, is very resourceful, is valued by Google, and because of which my PPT has crossed 35,000 views over time. So that's simply because of SlideShare that this PPT has crossed so many views, and which has then given me ideas to create more and more PPTs and keep uploading them on SlideShare, which one way or the other helps me build a stronger brand. So one important thing to understand here is that all of this social and digital, along with hiring, marketing, and selling, is also about branding, is also about personal branding. Personal branding, which is very difficult to create in today's world otherwise, can happen in simpler means and ways on digital, on social, and all these places. So this PPT and other PPTs not just got a lot of views, but at times was also mentioned on LinkedIn Today. So you might remember before LinkedIn Pulse, there used to be something called LinkedIn Today. So that was the part of a PPT becoming famous enough to become mainstream on LinkedIn and be seen by many, many more people. Right. So one mistake that most digital marketers make is that they keep hoping people to visit their website, watch their content, engage with them there. While the truth is, you may have to do your bit in first going to places where people are looking for relevant details, relevant activities, or relevant information. Share your stuff there and then let people come back to your website or to you for more details, and through that, then they may get converted into a customer or somebody who frequents the website or something like that. Now, over time, internet has given birth to a lot of communities. So although I doubt if any one of you would be doing much in this domain, but I just generally want to show you how people have become mini celebrities, while they were simple regular people who started a Facebook page. Like there is a page called Garbage Bin, and it's famous author Guddu or Faisal Muhammad, or character Guddu basically, who's become famous through that. Faking News became so popular as a page and a website that it eventually got acquired by First Post, which is Viacom 18 and News Media 18. Or for example, this page also you must have seen, this or AIB. They have become so popular now that people are hooked onto their shows. TVF pictures, TVF permanent roommates, and they also feature in some ads here and there. So this is the new generation, new age, and new media, which is clearly taking over. And a big shift can also be seen in the way that Star TV has come out with Hotstar, or now Viacom 18 is coming out with Voot, or I think Zee has also come out with an app, because TV is also set to become smarter. And when I say smarter, I mean both in terms of content that we see on TV. From the Saas Bahu sagas, we are set to move towards far more intelligent content. And secondly, we are set to see a change in terms of how people watch TV. From Doordarshan Dish, we went to cable. We again went back to Tata Sky Dish. From Tata Sky Dish, we went to recording of TV channels, because at the end of the day, we are short on time in our lives today. So we want to watch what we want to watch when we want to watch. Keeping that in mind, the future of TV is naturally going to be digitally recorded content, or content which is available at all times, which is where YouTube becomes a big answer, which is where YouTube comes to say that, boss, I am the new TV channel that you all were looking for, and I can provide you with all the relevant content that you wanted in the world. There is no shying away, no running away from dedicated efforts, no shying away from constant efforts, and that is what you need to basically focus on. Now, these are myths and also steps to generally help you get started. So one of the biggest challenges and problems, and also solutions within the problem that you can have, is defining your objective. So you see, it's very easy to get lost in the crowd and be impressed by everybody who says, start doing digital, or an agency will come up and say that, I will do this for you, I will do that for you. First, you need to ask yourself that what do I need to do? Just the way when you hire somebody for your company, you have a specific purpose for that person. This person will handle operations. This person will handle sales. Similarly, when you're starting a digital marketing campaign, you should be aware and sure of why do you want to do digital marketing. For all you know, the answer you get at the end is that stainless steel cannot sell through digital marketing. That could very well be an answer. So you need to be sure of why do you want to do it. After you answer that question, can you think about where do you go? Do you go to Google? Do you go to Facebook? Do you go to LinkedIn? Do you create a website? Do you go to WhatsApp? Do you go to Instagram? Or where do you actually go after you answer that first question? Next is the point of when do you actually start your campaign? Is your product ready to be launched? Is your product already out there in the market? How often can you post? Do you have enough content to post something every day? Or where is it that you actually lie on that spectrum to be able to truly do this? So that's a next question that you can think of answering. And more importantly, you need to be ready to just be patient. Digital marketing is not a new sales manager that you are hiring that will start giving you results after you give it a target for first month. Digital marketing, the basic concept of it is that it starts working slowly and keeps working for a much longer time, provided you invest the right efforts and provided you are in it with the right heart, with the right intent, and in it for the long run. And immaterial of, whether you're doing something new, you need to keep the world feel that you are up, alive, and kicking. So even if no new developments are happening within your company, a simple LinkedIn post about a new article that you read or a thought on something, you can all post that. Of course, refrain from posting wedding pictures on LinkedIn, which is something a lot of people have started doing. That will not get you the right kind of attention. But otherwise, you should post something or the other which is relevant and informational for people. Now, the next big challenge that you will have is that, I've been doing digital marketing for 2-3 months, but I don't know if anything is actually happening or not. And one of you rightly asked me that, how do we know if our agency is up to anything good? So instead of relying on agencies' reports, ask them to come over, meet with them, discuss with them what they are doing, what their strategy is, and don't try to get impressed by just happiness marketing. So there is a concept I call happiness marketing. Happiness marketing is the part where you become happy by seeing something nice. So something nice could be increase in number of likes. Happiness could be increase in engagement. Happiness could be increase in any of the metrics, which may look nice, but may not mean much. So what you need to focus on, or what you need to do is, you need to focus on results. And even if the results take time, you should try and see that your efforts are leading into the right direction. And which is also where you might as well think of doing this in-house by simply hiring a person who has fair amount of knowledge of digital, and then hiring them to say that, let's do this internally, let's work on this day in and day out, then we will reach somewhere with our collective knowledge. And trust me, advertising is not too expensive. Advertising is also not expensive because of the reason that a Facebook offers you ads at a much lower cost than Google, at a lower cost than Twitter and many other networks. It's more about you knowing how to do Facebook advertising to be able to then reach out to relevant people at an optimal cost, and then making it work. Do that and you will not have this complaint. Keep using the wrong methods and you'll of course keep complaining. A logical point is that if you're selling a 500 rupee t-shirt and you are acquiring the customer at 200 rupees, then it logically does not make sense to keep investing in that kind of an effort over time. You need to naturally bring your costs down or try to work around a way to not spend that kind of money in doing this. Now, how does customer acquisition happen through the digital media or digital marketing? So first of all, you reach out to people. It could be done through search engine optimization, through ads, through email marketing, through social media marketing, or multiple other parameters. More importantly, you need to do targeted reach. You don't have to just do random regular reach. You need to make sure that you reach out to the most relevant people in the most relevant of ways, after which reaching out will turn people into visitors. And then people will come to see your website, visit your website, and then try to engage with you there. When people come in as visitors, some of them may get converted into leads. A lead could be in the form of them clicking on your feedback form or lead form where you ask them for their details. A lead could be in the form of a phone number where people call you up, and that's a lead, that's a generated qualified lead from the website. And all of this effectively and eventually will then lead to sales, whether it's offline or online or any other means. And what you of course need to make sure is that through conversion optimization, or through the process of making sure that more of your visitors get converted into sales, you will make that happen using the right kind of analytics. Analytics in this case does not just mean Google Analytics. Analytics also means a simple process of just measuring how many people get converted one way or the other. Now, for example, and this might make you happy, but let me tell you that making this happen won't be an overnight job. But let's say if you reach out to 1,000 people, of which 100 get converted as leads, and from those 100, 10 are converted into sales for a revenue of 1 lakh. Let's say this is the base at which we start this. What you can do is, through the right SEO, through the right Google ads, Facebook ads, or any other means, you can increase your reach. You can increase your reach to make sure more relevant people get to know about you. So therefore, by a simple increase in reach of 50%, you can increase everything else by 50%, therefore achieve a growth rate of 50% increase. Now, for example, if the reach remains constant, if you only reach out to the same number of people that you were reaching out earlier, but the leads still increase. And how can the leads increase? The leads can increase by a better optimized landing page, by a better optimized lead form, by a better optimized campaign where you're able to capture more leads or more details or data about people than you were able to do earlier, which then takes you to, of course, more sales and more revenue. If we don't talk about a growth in leads, but if we talk about a growth in sales without an increase in leads, then we are looking at effective email marketing or effective lead nurturing or effective ways through which, without increasing the cost at the beginning, without increasing the cost of reaching out to people, I can do more sales with the same number of leads that I'm getting, and that can lead to a result in my increased growth. And if in case I put all of them together, increased reach, increased leads, increased sales, it can lead to an increase in my revenue and an increase in my growth, provided I have something which is definitely sellable and can reach out to more and more people, and provided I have enough leads and sales to make that conversion happen. So that is the part of how this opportunity exists in digital marketing, right? So now I'll in fact quickly take you through the right. So the course, that will follow this class, if you intend to sign up for that, will include some aspects of this digital marketing scenario. It wouldn't be a very, very extensive course to cover everything under digital marketing, but it will be sufficient and enough to get you going with digital marketing, or to at least help you have a much better command on what you do when you do digital, or when you hire an agency, or when you hire an employee, or if you're doing it on your own internally, then you'll be able to do a good job of it. So in the 6 classes that we propose to do for this course, we'll be covering Facebook marketing, because Facebook is one of the cheaper methods of reaching out to a very targeted audience. So we'll be talking about how to do Facebook marketing for B2C and B2B, how to spend lesser, get better returns, and how to not spend too much time and yet get returns through your profiles. Then we'll be moving on to Twitter and LinkedIn marketing, how to generate leads out of Twitter, how to generate sales out of LinkedIn, how to make your personal brand grow using both of these platforms. So that will be the next 2 classes, after which we'll be going on to email marketing. And email marketing is very, very important. And if you're able to crack it, understand it, and do it rightfully, then trust me, it can lead to great results for you, great returns. And it's just a matter of aligning yourself to use it effectively, and then you'll be able to do it. And finally, we'll also be looking at search, Google ads, display ads, banner ads, which are also very effective depending on your category of work, what kind of business you are into. And along with this, we'll be doing some exercises during the class. We'll also be learning about how to create a digital marketing strategy for your brand, for your personal brand. And yeah, together it will be a lot of fun and learning. So hope to see a lot of you joining that. This is something that is like a small little gift to you. I'll just give you this link later on. I can just, so this will just help you optimize your profile better. You can use this and it will be nice. So that's that. And